You said that receptors can be non-functional, which is related to disease, maybe. So how can medicine fix this problem to have pills or so it makes receptors to appear, or how?
No, so the problem with that is that we usually cannot treat this condition, because if we have unfunctional receptors, we have to find other ways to interact with them. So what we could do, we actually could supply the person with the transplant organs that have these receptors. So this is not helping all the time, because sometimes we have the receptors spread on various tissues. And in this case, of course, we cannot do that. So usually the dysfunctional receptors, they bring very, how to say that, severe conditions, life-threatening ones. And some of these receptors, they can be, so we might have both non-functional and functional ones. So in this case, so let's say in one allele we have the mutant, in other we have the healthy one. So in this case, the person should correct their lifestyle, etc. So if it is related to diet or anyhow else. But well, for now, I guess we don't have much to do to treat these people. And it really depends on the receptors. Some of these receptors might be, some of these hormones, they might regulate very important functions. And if these functions are not, how to say that, they are not controlled by these receptors, then we have very bad condition in the patient. But if the patient can survive without these receptors, we just leave it like that.
Okay, I see now. Also, the second question was about the function of hypophysis. Yeah. So, is it right about to think that it secretes hormones that stimulates glands to release specific hormone? Yeah. So, I mean,
so what was the question here?
Is it right to think that hypophysis secretes hormone that stimulates glands to release specific hormone? Or the hypophysis secretes a lot of hormones?
So first we have the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus, it makes the hypophysis release the hormones that will aim the special endocrine glands. Okay, so this is three-step regulation of the production of these hormones. So the hypophysis itself secretes the tropins. So again, the hormones that are specific to these endocrine glands. But it also releases the two hormones, oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone, that come from the hypothalamus. So these two, they are not related to the endocrine glands. They have their own targets, and it's just the product of hypothalamus that is being released from the hypophysis. Okay. But the hormones that are produced in hypophysis, they are only tropic or specific to special endocrine glands. So they do regulate the functioning of other glands. Okay.
So it makes other glands to release their specific hormones.
So yes, we make these glands, so thyroid gland or adrenal cortex, to release these special hormones by stimulating them with these tropic hormones. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And we have a question from Ayan. So could you please explain flight and fight response? What is flight response? Okay, so the adrenaline, so this is the fast stress hormone. So this hormone, whenever it is released, it makes the whole body work for the production of energy. And why we might need it? We might need it to run because of the danger, or fight because of the danger again that we could not escape. Okay, so in this case, this hormone, it makes our blood pump very fast. So you have the tachycardia, so it's a very rapid heartbeat. Then you have high blood pressure because you need to pump all these blood full of oxygen and nutrients like glucose to all the possible muscles that you have, so on your limbs, on your chest, etc. Third, you increase the breathing rate because you need to obtain a lot of oxygen. And finally, release a lot of glucose from the depots of the organism. So for example, our liver, it has a lot of glycogen, and this glycogen, under the stimulation of the adrenaline, it starts hydrolyzing into glucose, and it is being released into the blood. So from blood, our muscles obtain it and start producing ATP to maintain these contractions, and in this case, either for running away, or for fighting.
Where is the body temperature regulated?
I guess it is the medulla oblongata, so the prolonged part of the stem of the brain, because this is one of the most important centers of our nervous system. And usually the most important ones, like the regulation of heartbeat, blood pressure, and breathing, they are all in this medulla oblongata. So the question from Jandos about body becoming very weak or tired, so we feel fatigue after the adrenaline release. Yes, it is true. So this is true because in this case, we spend a lot of nutrients like glucose for production of energy. And of course, whenever you have a lot of energy produced in vain, you kind of get rid of your storages of these fast energy molecules. And after that, you feel fatigued because you feel tired because you cannot reaccumulate all these nutrients again in a very short time. So just imagine that you were running for 40 minutes. So how would you feel? It's almost the same, but in this case, whenever we have the release of this adrenaline, especially in today's life, whenever we have the hyperdynamia, etc. So we don't really run away or we don't fight. So just imagine two people arguing and both of them are producing this adrenaline. So because of the adrenaline, they have a lot of energy being pumped, okay? And after that, if they don't start using this energy, it will go in vain, and usually it harms the body because, as you all know, the energy should be spent somewhere. If it's not spent for movement, it will be spent for damaging the organs and first of all the cardiovascular system. And in this case, you feel again tired because you are producing a lot of energy that should be used. If you remember the what was the film? It was Soviet film about Mary Poppins. So the father was arguing the mother of the children, and all of a sudden he started running around the room, and she was asking like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm running away from the infarctors of myocardium." So it was the joke related to the release of adrenaline. So not to harm his heart, he decided to move and spend this energy for that. Okay, so how muscles can change with the person's aging and why? Why it happens? it happens because our organism slowly is ready for dying, and we lose a lot of controlling part of the hormones and neurons. So in this case, whenever we stop getting this stimulation from endocrine system or from the nervous system, the muscles become smaller. So we lose parts of the fibers, or we replace them with the connective tissues, and that's why the sarcopenia happens. So to slow down this consequence of aging, you have to continue with the physical exercising, starting from your adult period of time. So whenever you're young, you have to continue with this physical exercising until you are very, very old, because this will stimulate the stem cells of the muscles, divide and stay young. Okay, so if you don't use your muscles, the muscles will kind of get the message that they don't need to grow anymore, so they will get rid of these stem cells, of most of these stem cells, and that's why the slower repairment happens, and also that's why we lose these muscles and replace it with the connective tissue. Okay, so just keep doing the physical exercising.
May I ask about hyperthyroidism? Like it happens when too much thyroxine is produced, but what are the causes of this hyperthyroidism? Is it stress or something else?
Well, we could actually have um, a lot of causes, so a lot of reasons. So it might be the problem of the hypophysis because it stimulates the thyroid gland. It might be the problem of the hypothalamus too. So the exact problem of the thyroid gland is when it gets the adenomas, so the growing tumors, either benign or cancerous. And these tumors, they kind of stay producing this hormone. Okay, so they keep producing it. It might also be the problem of other hormones and vitamins. So whenever we have this huge disbalance in vitamin uptake, some of the organs, they start functioning in a very weird way. So they might produce much more of the secret than they should. So I'm not really sure if the hyperthyroidism is related to which vitamins, but I guess I read some kind of paper about that. So I guess it's vitamin D related stuff. So Balnur, do you have any information about that?
Also read that it's, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Yeah, I have also read that it's somehow related to the vitamin D production. So nothing more to add.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just to clarify, you will say that adrenal glands are located on the top of kidneys, right?
Yes, adrenal ones, yeah.
And for example, when we need adrenaline, like these glands send signals to the brain, and only after that, like adrenaline release happens. Yes.
No, actually, we first obtain the information from the sensory organs like skin, eyes, or nose. So you define the danger, then this danger is being interpreted in your cortex of the brain. And then from the brain cortex, the signal goes to hypothalamus. So it makes the hypophysis release the adrenocorticotropic hormones. Then they go to the adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands starts producing the adrenaline. Okay.
Okay, so actually adrenaline comes from kidneys, right? No, adrenal glands.
Yes, adrenal glands.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, about circadian rhythm, it was said that pineal glands like release melatonin, right? And my question is, for example, if there is a huge source of light before sleeping, then it means that we don't release melatonin, right? Or how does it work?
Yes, it means that. So the problem is with this artificial insulation. So we have a lot of light coming from the street, especially the blue light. And well, evolutionary, we must obtain only the red light in the late hours. But now, because of all these LED panels, etc., we have a lot of, it's called light pollution. And this strikes the pineal gland. And this pineal gland postpones the production of melatonin. And whenever it postpones the production, our biorhythms are kind of messed up. And in this case, we have a lot of problems, not only with our biorhythms, but also with the repairment of our body. So instead of repairing it while sleeping, the organism postpones this repairment so that we have much more painful elements of our body than we should have in usual non-polluted, lightly polluted way. Okay, so that's why we are concerned about all these red screen filters, etc. So nowadays it is must-have thing on your devices, not only your PC but also your smartphones, your pocketbooks. So I mean the e-readers, for example. So try to reduce, at least if you cannot reduce all the light in the late hours, at least reduce the blue light. Yes, it is called blue light filter. So on Ubuntu, it is called night light. So it's GNOME Linux. On your Windows, you also have something like, just a second, should be called, it is called Nightlight 2. So you can download the special app for your Mac or Windows, which is called f.lux. So it is written like this, f.lux, and you can download it from just get flux. I guess it's .com. Or something like that. So this is for your PC. So for your Android phone, it should be the Twilight application. And in the late versions of Android, you have it built in your system. And I guess the latest iPhones, they also have the blue light screen filter also built in the system. So at least do that. And of course, the TV companies that broadcast the programs, they don't have these blue lights. So just don't watch TV after 9 p.m. That's it. So I hope I answered your question.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And many stuff actually is related to melatonin. So again, it is about the first of all, and most important one, is the immune system that is being activated by the melatonin, so it can fight the cancerous cells, etc. And when we have this huge disbalance of the production of melatonin, a lot of cancerous cells, they escape this immune response, and they might then develop the tumor. Okay, so do not underestimate the function of this small gland.
So, Professor, I also wanted to clarify. I just read from somewhere. Is it true that melatonin release will be active between um, 1 and 3, I guess, at night? Does it have a specific time period?
It is being released right before the sunset. So it starts the releasing of this hormone whenever the sun goes down, okay? And the peak of it is at about 1 to 3 a.m. Then it slowly drops down. So we have this curve with the peak that is right at 1 to 3 a.m., okay? And if we don't sleep at this time, or we are staring at the screen, of course, this peak is not happening. So it's being kind of skewed towards 5-ish or even 6 a.m. And at that time, we have the dawn. Okay, so the sun starts rising and the melatonin production is messed up again. That's why we have this disbalance. So be careful about the time that you go to sleep, and of course about the lighting of this place that you are sleeping at. So if it's too much light coming from the windows, just try to kind of block it. So we have special curtains or shields to reduce the amount of light that comes in. If nails have white dots, I'm not really sure what is happening there. So I don't know. Yes, it's most probably related to the deficiency of the vitamins. And again, what vitamins? The most probably vitamin D. So Balnur, could you please help me with that?
Hello again. Sorry. To be honest, I don't know, same. Because I know that like everyone says that something to do with vitamins. However, I've never came across the proof that says that yes, the white dots mean something. So I cannot answer to your question, like, because I never came across the like proof that shows that there is a deficiency
all these are
of vitamins.
rumors.
Sort of might be something
Okay.
is real, but there is no research on that.
It might be also related to hormones. So not only vitamins, but also hormones. So again,
and also might be some
thyroid
minerals because of its nails. So
like overcalcination. So something like that maybe.
Could you please describe the process of regulation of hormone secretion?
So we have the special feedback or the loop that is meant to regulate the production. So let's say we have the gland cell, and this gland cell is producing the hormone. Okay. So we have the production of the hormone, and it gets to the target cell. So in this case, the production of hormone should be controlled, and we can have this control in two different ways. So we have the negative and positive feedback. So feedback. And how it works. So let's say that we have the release of the hormone in the gland cell, and then the target cell, it starts secreting something else. So let's call it the inhibitor. And the increase of the concentration of the inhibitor will reduce the production of the hormone. Okay, so in this case, we will have the concentration here. So the concentration of inhibitor and the hormone. Here we will have the timeline. So let's say we have the hormone. So it's no, not like this. So the hormone is a lot now, and we have the time point 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this case, we just started the action. So the hormone is getting to this cell. And at time point 2, we have the same amount of hormone produced by this gland cell. Now what happens next? So the target cell obtains this hormone and starts the reaction. So inside a lot of stuff is happening, and one of these reactions, it starts the production of the inhibitor. So at point 2, we start the production of the inhibitor. And at point 3, so somewhere here, this inhibitor gets to the gland cell. So in this case, we will have, so by the time point 3, we have the same amount of hormone, but the amount of this inhibitor is getting up. So let's say at time point 3, it reaches the gland cell. So what happens? The gland cell, it has the receptor to this inhibitor, and it starts a lot of reactions inside the cell. And one of these reactions, it turns off the production of the hormone. Okay. So at time point 4, we have the increase of our inhibitor. So it's further increase, but also we have the reduction of hormone production. So it drops down. And at time point 5, we don't have, so let's make it like this. So we don't have the production of hormone. So it will be at 0. And the production of inhibitor will be at max. And after that, because we don't sense any more hormone here, it will also drop down. Okay, so this is how the negative feedback works. Now we have, let's say, the positive feedback. And in this case, again, we have 2 cells, and one cell controls the other cell. So this is the gland cell, and this is the target cell. So what happens here? We have the hormone production by this gland cell. And this hormone is getting to our target cell, so it senses it with the receptor and starts producing something. So let's say this is the product delta H. So this product gets back to the gland cell and stimulates it because we have the receptor here. So this delta H protein or substance, it starts the reactions inside this gland cell, which actually increase the production of the hormone. So we have the increased production of the hormone. So the more hormone the target cell gets, the more delta H it produces, and then delta H again stimulates the hormone production. And in this case, we will have simultaneous or very close graphs of these two guys. So one will increase the concentration of the other. So we have time here and the concentration here. So the more hormone we produce, the more products substance is released, and this stimulates again. So this is the self-potentiating loop. Usually, one part, so either hormone or the target cell, they should be vanished in case to stop the in order to stop the hormone production. So this is the positive feedback.
But it is regarding the blood group types. So if we have a person with blood group type B, and we looking for a donor for this person, we can only give a blood of group B and AB, right?
So what we have, so again, this B means the antigens on the erythrocytes. Okay, so this is erythrocyte. And this antigen, or let's make it like this. So this is B. And in the blood of this B patient, we have the antibodies against the, so these anti-A antibodies. So if it senses the A antigen, it will kill the erythrocyte. So what we could add, so it's only the B or 0, because in 0 we have no antigens on the erythrocyte. So there is no A, there's no A and no B antigen on the erythrocyte. So we can give this B person both B and 0 blood. So if we speak about the plasma, it's vice versa. So it's either B. So we have or AB. So this is for plasma transfusion. This is for blood or erythrocyte transfusion. Okay.